Welcome to the stage.
Thank you very much.
What brings you here this evening?
A new genre of poetry called critical love poetry.
Oh, now my heart will continue to ache, I bet.
Exactly,
All
that's
right,
what I was
well,
thinking.
let's give Adriana one more round of applause and listen to some critical love.
So, this is my first time ever doing anything like this. So, be gentle. And the other thing about this critical love poetry thing, like a lot of this is love related, but I promise it's not like super sappy. And I think that there's like a certain vanity in like only writing love poems, because it's like if that's my only problem that I feel the need to write poetry about, then I'm doing pretty well, I think. So this first one is called Crush. New, nice, friendly, funny, feeling, fast, fantasize, fickle, fun, delight, desire, decide, design, different, don't delve deeper, imagine, internalize, impress, excitement, embellish, flirt, feel, fret, silly, sinking, sappy, overthinking, overanalyzing, overboard, realize, rethink, repulse, release, revert, relapse, revisit, revise, regret, relearn, repeat. This next one is some prose that I started it a little bit yesterday and I wrote most of it today. And I just wrote the last line here, so I don't know, I'm not happy with it. I'm going to tell you that. So it's called The Whole Package, and it's about this notion of like, you know, the whole, people say, oh, he's the whole package, she's the whole package, so. Who wrapped the whole package? And what if the paper's slightly torn when it arrives? I mean, your whole life you've been paying for shipping, and this is no exception, so shouldn't the package arrive intact? And what happens if you're not there to sign for the whole package? What if someone else signs for it before you get there? Receiving a package by surprise can be fun, but if someone else picks it for you, is the whole package still yours? What if what you thought the whole package was arrives at a pleasant moment, but soon proves to be missing some pieces here or there? Or what if the whole package arrives completely on time and intact, but you don't have anywhere to put it, and you realize, even though it's what you ordered, you just don't want it anymore? Or what if you spend so long waiting for the whole package to arrive that when it finally does, you really just don't want it anymore? What if the whole package isn't in stock when you feel you're ready to order it? Only certain parts. Should you place an order? What if you just order it on a whim and regret it? What if the product description was enticing, but the real thing is misshapen, discolored, or way smaller in person? Or what if it breaks after only 2 weeks? I don't think the whole package comes with a warranty. What if it looks like someone already opened the package? Should you still accept it? Is that risky? Who's the supplier anyway? Where am I ordering it from? Is it local? Are they tracking my recent purchases and presenting me with options I might also like? Am I only ordering this because it's similar to packages I've already ordered? Is there some kind of catalog I can flip through to see all of my options? Or are we essentially doomed to a world of related searches? And what if you order the whole package but without reading the terms and conditions? What if the whole package doesn't want to be possessed? The whole package poses too many possible problems. I think I'll stick to the peace and quiet of privacy instead. So now we're going to get a little more sappy and lovey. But to introduce this poem, there's a quote from a Sam Roberts song that I really, really like. And the song is called Twist the Knife, and he says, love can bend you, love can break, hearts can bend and hearts can ache, life will give you what you take, life will give you what you take. And so the next few poems are basically about learning from life and love and that kind of thing. So this next one's called Blackout. What was once a brilliant power surge has faded, causing an already fraying connection to short circuit and transforming a once vibrant world into a place tainted by shadows, cobwebs, and noise. And the boisterous blackout of the past forces you to journey out into the lamplit night, taking very little with you, since old possessions and outdated connections are what got you here in the first place. When the lamentable haze is parted by crimson rays, and the tint of truth-telling colors the world, the crumbling clarity of reality is at times difficult to know. And if knowing is half the battle, then accepting the alteration of the rosy-tinged horizon presents a whole new army of adversaries. But when you see the horizon in its true, though changing colors with open eyes, you'll know you made the right choice to leave your glasses at home. And then, you don't have to clap every time.
We want to!
The next one's called Blink, and it's a lot more reminiscent of like old poetry that I used to write, like more, you'll see. There's much to be learned and there's little guaranteed when hearts shrink to grow and hopeful lovers must be freed and venture off uncertain of what awaits ahead with their slightly wounded hearts and their overactive heads. Their steps are small but certain, their pace they mustn't quit as life pulls back the curtain on a stage that's barely lit. On their way to somewhere better, where their hearts are meant to be, at times still reminiscing about more hopeful fantasies. As of yet there is no ending, some hearts need time to think. Their journey still is pending, love come and gone in but a blink.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know if I'm like, just like rushing through this, but this notion that I want to bring up is just like how there's like a formulaic quality to like amicably parting ways, whether it's with a friend or whether with a significant other, and it's like, at first you're like totally in it together, so that was like the in it together stage, and now this next one is like the me stage. Because then eventually you're like, why are we trying to still be friends? This doesn't make any sense. It's called I'm Learning. I'm learning. I'm learning to stop foolishly indulging in fantasies, but not to stop dreaming. To let go of the grandiose vision of what could have been, and instead accept the cards as they've been dealt. I'm learning to stop drafting you love letters, to stop singing songs for you, and to dance once more for myself. I'm learning to expect what's coming to me, or is it to get less caught up in expectations? But I expected so much and asked for so little, and as a result, I've been left with an all too clear confusion from which I know I'm learning. I'm learning that it takes two to tango, but it's a choice to follow with intent. A choice to ignore your heart's true instincts and get caught up in attachment. I'm learning not to put all my eggs in any one basket, to remember that I will learn there are no guarantees. I'm learning to remember everything I knew before I jettisoned far too much of my previous knowledge in exchange for a drawn-out but short-lived bumpy ride back home. I'm learning to select just the right materials to build the proper boundaries, but not to enclose the human heart. To give it a platform, but not a megaphone. To keep it open, but not exposed. I'm learning to listen to Rafiki and stop living in the past. To bury old ghosts, to ditch old habits, and that these kinds of things don't always happen fast. I'm learning to surrender in the most powerful way, though I still wonder if it's a choice to feel like you want to give someone everything you've got. I'm learning that it doesn't really matter, that these lessons are beautiful building blocks rather than battles to be fought. Okay, and now this one is a little longer, and it's my last one. And I started it a few years ago when love seemed really, like it just didn't make any sense to me. And you'll understand why when I read the poem. But a quote that I love by Thomas Merton that kind of like sums up what I think we should strive for a little bit more rather than the craziness of love that I've kind of talked about is, the beginning of love is to let those we love be perfectly themselves and not to twist them to fit our own image. Otherwise, we love only the reflection of ourselves we find in them. So, this one doesn't have a title. Okay. Friends, lovers, lonely men, I present for you this evening a chilling whodunit, a crime of passion, of lust, and exasperation in the quest for connection. The culprit is an accessory to insanity, a duplicitous dealer doling out dimes of lack, promising that if you wait just patiently enough, your craving will be quenched, your voids filled, and true happiness known. The suspects. Was it Hollywood, the gluttonous glamorizer of gaiety? Our institutions, touting traditions of twosomes? Or perhaps it's a joint operation? Do Hollywood and institutions create and inflict, or just perpetuate this void, this epidemic, this universal hunger, this ingrained addiction, inflicting its poison in the hearts and minds of junkies everywhere who unwittingly are searching, seeking to fill the voids they were born with, born into, or acquired along the way to meeting that person who become the drug that, no matter how addictive, of which they gladly take another hit. Anything to feel that high, the one that quenches years of waiting, years of wanting, years of using, some cleaner than others, but all in all advice that's always willingly revisited. Go ahead, try it. Launch the campaign, Say No to Love. Convince yourself you know better. Live the button-down life, certain that you'll never relapse because you've already been there, and again, you know better. And then, a trigger. Someone, some theoretical mental terrorist, maybe even an unaware self-inflicting masochist, cocks Cupid's pistol, grabbing you in a way that it's no longer your choice, you're feeling it, and there you are, back where you started, the place that you know it all too well, you've never really been comfortable, because it's there you feel your most raw, your most real of emotions, even if they're rooted in fantasy. Logically, you lament this state, but don't forget that you essentially waived your right to lament the day you said, I've never felt this way before, and began the addict's inachievable quest to recreate that very first time. Reverting is, of course, much easier than moving on, because moving on takes capital T time and conscious effort, with the former calling the shots. Time, the untamable brute, the unconquerable constant, the force we'll spend our lives trying to control, imploring it to slow down when we're where we want to be, and praying it speeds up when we're suffering from lack. Life wouldn't be life without the duality, yet we lament this reality, spewing country rhymes of aching hearts, letting the world fall apart because that person has moved on. There's always something to take and something to learn, and when you take what you learned, it may eventually seem clear. Eyes being open to realities, which made it so you had to feel that pain, had to live that void to be capital Y, you. And so to conclude the mystery of who done it, you done it, and you'd do it again. I'm sorry to say it's a textbook case of puppy love, a time-tested, insatiable addiction, too oftentimes feeling like an affliction, paralyzing, riling you with confliction. But if there were a cure, would you want the prescription? I didn't think so. That's it. Thank you. You're very supportive. I appreciate it.